as a missionary, the goal is to talk to as many people as you can. And sometimes it's super easy, sometimes it's really hard. One experience I had, I learned a valuable lesson. I'll never forget it. And I never forgot it on my mission. But I was in an area for 9 months. And the first transfer I was there, I was with one of my companions. He was finishing up his mission. And we met this guy on the street. And he always had a specific spot where he would sit. And every time we would leave the house, we would always pass him. And everywhere we were going, anywhere, like if we were going to an appointment, we would always pass him. If we were going to go eat, we would always pass him. But every day we would always see him. And I remember only one day when I was with this companion that we talked to him, but we didn't really mention the church or invited him to come. Rather, we just knew that he knew a member, and we didn't really think anything of it. But after that transfer, it always came into mind, we should talk to this guy. Anyways, that companion left, got another companion. He was also leaving the mission. He was finishing up. And I wanted to talk to this guy, and sometimes it would be hard. We would always have appointments, and I would always kind of forget, but then it would always come to mind, we have to talk to this guy. Like, we have to talk to this guy. And that was the Spirit telling me, go talk to this guy. And it's crazy because he was always in the same spot. And he was, after 2 more transfers, so there's been 3 already without me even talking to this guy. And my 4th transfer, pretty sure, yeah, anyways, so when I started training, my companion and I were studying about how we could do better, what things we could do better to contact people, how we can approach people. And the thought of this guy came in mind again. I'm like, oh my gosh, let's go. This is perfect. Let's do what we just learned and let's talk to this guy. And we go and we talk to him, and I've always seen him, or I always knew him, but I just never mentioned the church to him. And anyways, we approach him. I have a Book of Mormon in my hand. I tell him about the Book of Mormon. I'm like, look, this is the Book of Mormon, another testimony of Jesus Christ. I would love for you to read this. I think you would love it. And he's like, yeah, for sure. I'm like, can we come by another time? He's like, yeah, this is where I live. I'm always at the same spot. I'm like, yeah, I know. And we start talking, and I'm like, wow, this is awesome. Like, it's totally accepted everything, just super accepting. I've had a good feeling the whole time. Anyways, we go back, talk to him. He started reading the Book of Mormon, loves it, and is already beginning to gain a testimony of it. We invite him to church, comes to church, has a great experience, meets lots of members, and I'm like, why didn't I ever do this before? And I'm just like, this whole time he was sitting in that same spot, and after months he was still in that same spot. And I think the reason I was in that area for so long was because I needed to learn that lesson, or I needed to talk to this guy, teach him about the Book of Mormon, which changed his life. And it was because of the Book of Mormon that he got over addictions with smoking, drinking, and that whole party life. And he started developing new habits, going to church, reading scriptures, and always keeping the commandments. And I remember when we first invited him to be baptized, it was hard because he still had things to improve, and it took a little bit of time, but I wasn't there to see him get baptized. I left the area. But I remember when I invited him to, my companion and I, when we invited him to be baptized, he knew it was right. He knew it was the right thing, and he knew he was ready. And that just struck me. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And it was actually a really short time, just within 6 weeks, he was ready to be baptized. And one of the craziest things that I learned was to always talk to people, because you never know if they're ready or not until you talk to them. And the Lord will always, He's preparing people right now, wherever the missionaries are going. He's preparing people to be, taught. And you can't know. No one knows if they're ready or not. You're not going to know until you talk to them. That's why, the Preach My Gospel talks about and always mentions talking to people. Always contact people. Always be asking for referrals, because you never know who needs this or who's ready for it. Everyone needs this, but you never know who's ready. And so I was just so grateful to have stayed in that area and witnessed this guy who was set in the same spot for the space of 9 months, and who I thought nothing about. Thought, maybe someday. Just never thought about teaching him until I really just followed the prompting that I felt, and I witnessed a miracle. Something that I never thought. So, and what I learned was always follow the promptings. There's always stories that are going to be like that. Just make sure you always follow the promptings of the Spirit.